Harnessing anger, transforming frustration into strength. The anger you were never taught to trust. You're not imagining it. The frustration you feel when you're interrupted, the anger that rises when your efforts are overlooked, that moment when you say yes, but every part of you wanted to say no. That's real, and it's important. But instead of being taught to trust it, you were told to be patient, to be quiet, to let it go. What if anger wasn't something to silence? What if it was something to understand? Something that could lead you to clarity, confidence, and change. This guide is about understanding your anger, not as something to fear, but as a tool for change. You'll explore why anger is dismissed and misunderstood, particularly in marginalized communities, how to recognize what your anger is trying to tell you, ways to express anger in a way that empowers you instead of shutting you down, how to turn frustration into meaningful action, whether in your career, relationships, or personal growth. If you've ever swallowed your words, second-guessed your reactions, or wondered why your anger feels so heavy, this guide is for you. Your feelings are valid, your voice matters, and it's time to listen to yourself in a way you may never have before. Reframing anger as a useful emotion. Anger is often misrepresented as destructive, but research has shown it has an essential function: self-preservation. One study conducted at Harvard University found that anger can enhance optimism, risk assessment, and problem-solving when directed appropriately. It heightens motivation, helping individuals push through obstacles rather than retreat into passivity. Psychologist Harriet Lerner, in her book The Dance of Anger, explains that women, in particular, are socialized to suppress anger, which leads to internalized resentment and self-doubt rather than constructive action. The key is not eliminating anger, but learning how to use it as an indicator of when something in our lives needs to change. What anger signals? When anger arises, it often points to a boundary being crossed, a need being unmet, or an injustice occurring. Instead of suppressing it, ask, what is this trying to tell me? How anger helps us act. Research from the American Psychological Association suggests that anger, when recognized and expressed effectively, can lead to stronger decision-making and assertiveness in both personal and professional settings. How to process anger instead of suppressing it. Many of us default to one of two responses: exploding or shutting down. But anger doesn't have to lead to either. Emotional regulation is key, and research on emotional intelligence suggests that recognizing and managing emotions is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. A 3-step process for processing anger. Pause and identify. Before reacting, take a deep breath and slow down. A study on emotional regulation found that even a few seconds of pause can reduce impulsive responses by 40%. Name what you're feeling: frustration, disappointment, rejection. Naming the emotion lessens its intensity. Evaluate the root cause. Ask, is this a boundary violation, a personal insecurity, or an external stressor? Research on vulnerability highlights that anger is often a secondary emotion, masking deeper feelings like hurt or fear. Channel it constructively. Instead of reacting emotionally, respond intentionally. If someone dismisses your work, rather than stewing in resentment, set a boundary, directly addressing the issue or adjusting your expectations of that person. Physical activity has been shown to reduce cortisol levels and process anger faster. If emotions feel overwhelming, take a walk or engage in movement before responding. Speaking up without regret: how to express anger effectively. The fear of being seen as aggressive holds many people back from expressing anger, especially women and marginalized groups. But assertiveness is not aggression, and clear communication can prevent unnecessary conflict while still advocating for yourself. Key strategies for expressing anger constructively. Use I statements. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try, "I feel unheard when my input is ignored in meetings." Research from the Gottman Institute found that I statements reduce defensiveness and increase resolution rates in disagreements. Know when to step back. Not every situation requires confrontation. Anger is an energy-draining emotion. and choosing when to engage protects emotional reserves. Set boundaries in the moment. If someone crosses a line, address it immediately rather than letting frustration build. Research on boundary setting suggests that boundaries are most effective when they're clear, consistent, and enforced early, turning frustration into action. Anger, when directed appropriately, is one of the strongest catalysts for change. Many workplace policies regarding fair pay, remote work, and gender equity have been driven by employees speaking up about mistreatment. Examples of anger used for change. Workplace advocacy. Research on organizational behavior suggests that speaking up about mistreatment leads to improved policies and employee satisfaction. Personal relationships. Recognizing patterns of emotional labor in friendships and romantic relationships can lead to healthier boundaries and expectations. Societal change. Many social justice movements, from gender rights to climate advocacy, have been fueled by collective frustration that translated into meaningful action. If you find yourself stuck in a cycle of frustration without resolution, channel it toward a tangible action step. Whether that's asking for a raise, leaving a toxic situation, or advocating for a cause that aligns with your values. Preventing emotional exhaustion, long-term anger management. Unchecked anger, when carried for too long, leads to emotional burnout. Studies have linked chronic stress from unprocessed anger to higher cortisol levels, cardiovascular disease, and mental health struggles. Sustainable practices for managing anger without suppression. Daily check-ins, journaling, or reflecting at the end of each day can help prevent unspoken frustrations from building up. Mindful movement. Research on stress management suggests that practices like yoga and walking help regulate the nervous system, preventing anger from being stored in the body. Therapeutic support, therapy, coaching, or peer support groups provide tools for processing anger productively. Listening to your anger as a guide. Anger is not something to fear. It is a powerful, natural emotion that, when understood and channeled, can lead to greater clarity, self-awareness, and transformation. It is not a weakness or a flaw, but a signal that something in your life needs attention. By learning to listen to your anger, you gain the ability to make better decisions, set healthier boundaries, and advocate for yourself with confidence. It becomes a tool for self-respect, helping you realign with your values, protect your energy, and take meaningful action. Rather than dismissing anger, embrace it as part of your emotional intelligence, an invitation to grow, to stand in your truth, and to create the life you deserve.
If this conversation resonated with you, let's keep exploring together. Join our community, where we go deeper into self-inquiry, stillness, and the wisdom that helps us navigate life with clarity. Subscribe, share your thoughts, and connect with others on this journey. You can find more in the description. Until next time, take care.